The following is a Just Green production brought to you by the Might Be News Network.
Welcome back to Might Be Tunes. Might Be Tunes is back. Different kind of show. We're doing it. We're expanding. Might Be Tunes back every Friday with me, Ahmed Smith, Carl Pinnell. What's up, guys?
What up? What's up? Hello.
So this is the new Might Be Tunes format. We've got a show coming out every Friday. Occasionally, we're going to have live performances recorded at the Pit with Jake and Chuck, or some other places as well. Working on a lot of different things. But every Friday, you're going to have a show with at least the three of us. We're going to talk music. We're going to talk all things music, all kinds of music. And you're going to get a companion Spotify playlist. That's right. You got to go to Spotify after this. Check out the exclusive playlist from Might Be Tunes. Get your weekend started right. You know what I mean?
Get it started.
This is crazy. It's crazy. So this is the first time we're doing this. Might Be Tunes hasn't been on the network since the end of the last season. And we had a lot of fun with it, but it was only like a live show, live music show. Ahmed, you were on there.
Yeah. Electric Church.
Yep.
Did the cover band thing.
Yep. It was a lot of fun, and we're going to do more of that. But also, more importantly as well, we're going to be doing this. We're going to be sitting here talking music with you guys. So for the listeners, if you're listening to this, chances are you know who the hell I am because I'm on all these shows. But for the listeners that don't know who you guys are, Ahmed, why don't you start?
Musician. That's it.
What do you play? Like, what's your instrument? What's your favorite genre of music to play? Like, what are you into?
I'm into everything. Everything from rock to hip hop to R&B. Everything.
Yeah.
To me, like if you were to look at my CD case, for those of you who still have CD cases,
Throwback
or anything like that,
yeah,
it's all over the place. You'd have no idea. You'd be like, fuck. The hell?
I get excited when I randomly find my CD cases.
Yeah.
Like if I just like stumble upon like a CD case in a closet, I'm like, oh, which one is that? Like,
see,
what's in that thing?
Old school I am. I still have all my shit. I still have all of it. All of it.
What instrument do you play?
Bass, guitar, and drums.
That's awesome.
I pretty much started out with drums. But we lived in a small house when I was coming up. So having the drums wouldn't be the best thing to have. So
right.
I moved on to guitar quick.
Okay.
So guitar when I was 10. Didn't really take it seriously till I was 13. And then from 13 on, I just went from band to band without really developing any type of style for myself. But it just kind of went on from there. So
that's awesome. Carl Pinnell, what about you?
Well, my first instrument was drums at a really young age. I was actually 8, I think.
Okay.
Right? So
yeah.
when I got my first drum set, it wasn't until later that I wanted to start playing other things. Probably in my teenage years, I started playing with the bass a little bit, but I fell in love with the guitar. But I was never ever anything good on those at all. Like
yeah.
It's just I'm the friend that when you pick up the guitar, my good guitar buddies get upset.
Yeah.
They're just like, fuck. You know? So.
Yeah, I can co-sign on that. We've played together for those of you who don't know.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean I still like put together ideas with them, and that's basically all it is with that. But when I was in my 20s, I started getting more into like the recording and the sampling and the programming and all the MIDI stuff. And
I even trust his word on all that type of production.
Yeah.
For anything that, because we've done this type of thing before. This is going to lead into where we're at. He's asked me what the best production sounding album is. It's like a question we've had over the years. To him, it was Metallica's Black Album. And I've been over the years trying to find an album that outdoes the production of that, and I can't find one.
There's only one. There's only one, and that's Hysteria.
See?
By Muse?
No, Def Leppard.
Oh, Def Leppard.
Yeah, and
Well, for production wise,
I'm thinking
if you're just talking production, that's it. If you're just talking strictly production, that's it. In my opinion, obviously.
I'm still gonna say the Black Album.
No, I'm saying if there was one to touch it, that was what it would be.
Okay,
but the amount of time put.
It's not better than that. You still don't think it's better than that?
No. Still, I think Black Album is still the best sounding rock.
See, what would you say?
I'm trying to think like of an album that I can think of that would be better produced or the same, and I kind of gravitate towards D'Angelo, like a Voodoo, like the authenticity of that production always kind of like hit me in a different note. You know what I mean? Just how you could kind of tell that was made differently than other projects, certainly of like its time. And because I'm going to be up front and honest, I'm not a huge Metallica fan, like whatsoever, really. So like I like their hits. I've heard other things that weren't hits, like deeper cuts. But
but you can hear a radio song like Sad But True or Sandman or something like that.
And you obviously know
get the idea of
there's
the
like a signature sound to it, you know, and the production's incredible. But I kind of gravitate towards some of like the more grittier sounds as far as production goes. Voodoo is a good example of that, just how it's not gritty in sound because it's actually like pretty classical, but just like the overall quality of it kind of sounds like you're listening to it on vinyl no matter how you're listening to it. You know what I mean? So it's like this different thing.
He might have set it up that way.
Yeah, I feel like that's what they did.
Some people do that.
Yeah.
And, you know,
I think D'Angelo did it for all three of his albums. Like they recorded it
he's
in
old
analog.
School.
Yeah, they did it differently.
A lot of his influences are the old school guys who did stuff like that. So he probably did that on purpose.
Right. I agree. But yeah, I mean, so you guys have played together. You mentioned that. So what made you guys? I hit you guys up to do this because we've known each other a long time.
Oh wow!
And I love talking music with you guys. Whenever we get together, we end up talking about music.
It's just one of those things that just happens,
right? Whether it's just like your music, my music, our music, music in general. So when I thought about doing something like this, literally, you guys were the first and only people I really hit up about this.
That's what's up. I'm glad you called.
Yeah, because I figured you guys would love to do something like this.
Yeah. I love talking music. I can do this all day.
We met up last week and we kind of just talked about some of the topics that we could kind of just throw around. And one of the first one that we came up with was our top 5 albums. Any genre, not in any specific order, and not for any specific reason, just what are your top 5 albums? And we had all week to work on this, and we've kind of bounced not ideas off each other, but just kind of checked in with each other, like, how's this list going? How you guys doing?
I pretty much already knew.
You already knew.
I already knew.
Well, since you already knew, do you want to go first?
I can go first.
I feel like this is a great icebreaker for our listeners to kind of get to know our musical tastes and just kind of who we are.
With that in mind, none of this will actually be a shock to anybody who knows me, but at the same time, there are so many more albums. These are just the first 4 or 5 albums that come to mind as soon as I think of top. The ones that I've listened to backwards and forwards and backwards.
Yeah.
Put it on in the middle. I know where it's at. You know, everything about it. I got it down. So first off, Kiss Alive. Alive and Alive 2. That goes number 1 for me.
Explain for those people who aren't necessarily Kiss fans or know what that is. Alive, is that a live album?
That's a live album. That was pretty much one of the biggest selling live album of all time, I think.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was.
Okay.
And that Alive and Alive 2 for me, because they're
Alive 2?
Yeah. Alive came out in 75. Alive 2 came out in 77.
I really don't know much about Kiss at all.
a lot of people don't, especially nowadays.
Yeah.
And it's all right. But back I became a fan in the early 70s.
Okay.
Not early 70s, late 70s. Yeah, 78.
Okay.
October 78 is my earliest memory of Kiss. But anyway, they had a concert on, and the whole concert was basically Alive and Alive 2. I didn't really realize that until later, but every time I would listen to those albums, it would take me back to that show. So throughout time, just listening to all, like the live guitar solos, the drum solos and all that kind of stuff, it made me want to play the whole thing of being on stage and all that shit, and guitars, and I got turned on to it from there. So and live albums happen to be my favorite albums overall in anybody's catalog. I'd rather listen to a live album than I would, a studio album. Because
I can do
especially
that.
all the stuff you find out about studio albums over the years, sometimes with bands like Kiss, for instance, the four of them may be on the cover, but what I ended up finding out was, or you'll find out, is that it might not be Peter Criss playing the drums. It might not be Ace Frehley playing guitar. They might have brought somebody else in because he was either fucked up that day or schedule, whatever and throughout time people would be like, is that heartbreaking to find out that the guitarist or drummer that's on the cover is not on it, and back then if I would have found out, I'd have been heartbroken. But now I know how things work, and I don't care. But anyway, so those two are tied for number one with me, and number two, I don't have to go in order.
No.
Fire off whatever. Thriller.
Okay. Yep.
Michael Jackson.
Yep.
Biggest selling album of all time.
All time, right.
To this day.
Yeah.
I remember, Thriller is important for me because that's pretty much when I became a fan of his. The first thing I ever saw of him was, again, in 1978, The Wiz. The Scarecrow. That was my introduction to Michael Jackson. But then the next thing I remember was the Billie Jean video on TV, and how can you not be inspired by that?
Right.
And then that whole album, like he just never stopped that year or with that album, because then he released Beat It, and then he did the Motown 25 thing, which was today one of the greatest live performances by anybody, by any artist. And it was lip synced. And I don't know how some people feel about lip synced performances, but I didn't care.
Fuck it.
Yeah, he did. He killed it on that. So I didn't even care. And then the Thriller video, just that whole album. It's one of those albums that I put on and I don't fuck with it, every single song.
Right.
Purple Rain, another one, which was pretty much the next year after Thriller, I think. Well, Thriller came out in 82. Purple Rain came out in 84. But Thriller didn't really blow up until 83, because it came out in November of 82. And 83 was the year that everything came out. And so anyway, but in 84 when Purple Rain came out, that was just another one of those albums that you put on, you don't touch. The movie was hot, the whole thing. I love Purple Rain. And Prince was he's another one, like a musical influence. That's what I like about him the most, his musicianship. Yeah, I'm not really the biggest fan of his. Yeah, I'm not really the biggest fan of his dancing.
Yeah, sure,
stuff like that. But for songwriting,
iconic,
Prince.
Yeah,
definitely. Alice Cooper, Welcome to My Nightmare.
Okay,
I remember seeing him on the Muppets.
Yeah, I remember seeing him on the Muppets.
That was my introduction to Alice Cooper, seeing him on the Muppet Show.
Wow.
And Welcome to My Nightmare was like a theme album. I like theme albums. Ties in like horror and all that kind of stuff. It was different. It wasn't like a traditional album where you put it on and it's okay, well, this song.
Had a concept to it.
Yeah.
Right.
So I was tied into that, and by being tied into that, I felt like I was listening to a giant story, and I used to play the shit out of that. So, got big on Alice Cooper that way. So, and finally, Van Halen, 1984.
Okay.
I found that tape in the rain one day, and how can you not be impressed with Eddie Van Halen?
Right.
Drums and all that. A lot of people don't really dig Van Halen because of David Lee Roth's voice, whatever. It's either Sammy or Dave. That's kind of like a thing. But I see, for me, with music in general, and this goes to all genres, the music hooks me first. I could care less what the lyrics are. I'm not a deep lyric person. I mean, I like lyrics, but that's second for me.
Okay,
If the beat's hot or the rhythm's hot,
yeah,
I'm in. You could say anything. Like there's times this is fucked up to say, but I'd be at some parties and some people were playing skinhead music.
Yeah.
It was like hardcore and shit like that. I'm like, who's this band?
What is this?
You don't want to be down with this.
You're right.
Who is it? Screwdrivers, a skinhead band. That's fucked up.
That's fucked up.
But just because being down with like heavy music and shit like that, and hearing like heavy riffs and stuff come from that, I was kind of like But once I found out, I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
Right.
I can't be down with that shit. But
my top 5 favorite. That's a really good list, by the way. It's a really good list.
It's all over the place.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. My list has a lot of like newer type stuff. There's some 90s on here. There's some newer stuff too, though, which kind of surprised me because I kind of strayed away from some of the albums that I would have picked like in my young adulthood. You know what I mean? Because like my top favorite 5 albums like have changed a million times throughout my life, right? So like if you would have asked me this when I was in high school, it would have been every Incubus album out and or like a couple 311 albums or like, you know what I mean, or whatever. But now it's just like as an adult, like I listen to, because I used to be exactly like that with the beats only. Doesn't fucking matter what it is. And like now I'm like super picky about everything. Like if I hear the beat draws me in and I'm like, this is great. I'm feeling it. I'm in it. And then they say something stupid.
See, I think I was backwards.
I'm out.
I think I was backwards. I think I was real stubborn.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Okay.
Because you got to remember, I came up in the 80s, and a lot of the stuff on my list is I was hearing it and seeing it with the world for the first time.
Yeah.
So
right.
The inspiration kind of started then.
Right.
And nothing really has been able to match it as far as I'm concerned because of the huge dent that it left in my brain. But that doesn't mean that I don't like or dig,
sure
after the fact.
Sure.
So,
Carl, are you making adjustments to your list as we speak?
Yeah, somebody's getting kicked off this fucking list right now. I see. Well, I'm all over the place with this shit.
And it's better when it's that.
I don't know how to make. I really don't know how to make this list.
That's okay. I understand. Listen, I think everybody understands that your list is going to be different tomorrow than it is right now.
But that's cool, though.
That's
all right. Because it's all right, though.
The one that I'm like boneheaded myself right now, like why he's not on this list, and I'm like, so now I got to choose between 2 to kick. Which one? Yeah, I don't know, man. This is nuts.
Guaranteed by the time that this episode comes out and I listen to it, I'm like, I can't believe I said that in my list. Don't worry about it.
That's why I made sure.
We'll check back in.
That's why I.
Yeah, this list needs to be edited. I need to have a backspace button on this.
See, I mean, look I'm sharing a number 1 spot with a live 1 and a live 2 because
it's too hard.
In that first concert that I saw, they did that. 6 albums deep in their career, and both of those albums are like a compilation of everything that they did in the show. So I would take I would make my own version of it. I would take a live and a live 2 and dub them together.
Right, yeah, mix
make
it
a
up.
whole thing. So I'm used to listening to the album that way. So
Right.
to separate it, it's kind of hard to decide between the two.
Right.
That's why they share number one.
Okay. I got
And
you.
as far as I can remember, that's all that I was listening to then. Like I got turned on to other bands and music by sitting by the TV waiting for Kiss to come on.
Right.
So, and just by waiting, I found out about Alice Cooper. I found out about Van Halen, Michael Jackson, everybody. So, yep. I don't know what you're going to do. I knew this was going to be hard for you.
Yeah.
This is basically like
Well-
asking him to decide between if he had two kids, which one's your favorite?
Well, that would probably be easy. This is tougher. You know, I kind of went into it thinking like, all right, best album. That means I need to be able to listen to it from beginning to end without wanting to skip songs. You know, I play it for a month or two straight, that kind of shit. There's been tons of those. I've had tons of those where you just play it to death forever.
Yeah.
Like my lady, God bless her heart, she hears me play the same shit over and over and over again for months straight.
Same. Yeah.
And they'll probably never be on the list, a lot of those records.
Right. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
So I don't know. Are you still on your list?
No, he's
I'm
done.
Oh, well, I can go.
You want to go? You want to do it?
So listening to Ahmed, it makes me feel more like, all right, he's taking it to where the albums that just were more inspirational to him rather than just being the best album.
Yeah, that's where it is.
So,
this is a personal,
For me.
This is a very personal list. There's no wrong answers.
well, his,
Yeah.
I just think it's interesting because we're only a few years apart in age and our list is very different.
Okay. That's
and,
cool.
And we've been friends for a long time. We've played in bands together for a long time. You know, we still record together now, and our list is way different.
That's the beauty of music, though.
That's somebody who's born in the 70s versus somebody who's born in the 80s.
Yeah. I love where I'm at, though.
That's good. That's good.
I wouldn't have it any other way. As far as I'm concerned, I wish I was 10 years older.
Wow. What do you got, Carl?
All right. Well, we'll start. We'll just with me. It's always pretty obvious. The you know, always go straight to Metallica when it comes to my favorite band of my life ever. That started pretty young, but before that,
Which Metallica album?
Master of Puppets is my favorite
I can see that.
Okay.
by far. It's in my top 5.
I can see that.
That there was just something different about that record, the way it sounds coming from the first two, which were a little more harsher, I guess. Not necessarily harsh in the quality of sound. I mean, I'm not sitting here-
thrash.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not.
yeah,
I'm not,
right.
I'm not dissing the audio engineers. I'm just saying there was a more of a darkness about Master Puppets. You know, it was. I feel it was Cliff's best work also, and that the bass and that I don't know. It's just. It's not a live album, you know. They still had their studio tricks back in the day to make sure, you know, Lars could take his naps in between takes, you know, and change the drum heads 500 times. But
See, I go back and forth.
there's just something about the darkness of that record, and just from beginning to end, I will headbang and pretend I can sing like James the whole time.
If Injustice for All had bass, that would
You
be
can
my
hear it
favorite.
with bass now.
I know, and that's why it's my favorite. Injustice for All is my favorite.
Kind of lost the impact though, didn't it?
That's why if it had it in the beginning,
Why do they? I've seen so many stories was about why they did what they did with that record.
yeah.
I don't know.
Which one did you hear, or which one sticks out? Which story?
Well, one of the stories I read was the producer and the guy that it was either the producer or the guy that mixed the record originally, and then he would come back in and the bass would just be 8 dBs lower, you know, and it would just be James and Lars mostly pointing the finger at each other and just keep pushing it down till it was completely just inaudible. And that's just that. They just pushed it down. They just didn't want it in there. But the producer and the mixer of the record were, you know, the way they talked about it was very passionately upset about how it turned out, and they said it was a completely different record that they turned into that band than the one that they put out. You know,
I wonder if
I would have loved to hear what they originally had. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I wonder if that's the one floating around with the bass in it, or did somebody cue that up?
That I'm not sure.
Because it sounds like a whole different album.
It would be. It would be.
It's better to listen to it now. You won't even want to listen to that thin shit. It's real thin, like real.
Have you listened to it ever?
It's been a long time.
Yeah,
since
there's literally no bass guitar in it, and it's that first album that they put out after their bass player was killed. So
Okay.
Master Puppets. Then the bass player Cliff died.
Yeah, but then go listen to Garage Days. Do 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 do. A bass is loud as fuck.
Yeah, but did they do the Garage Days before Injustice for All?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, man, but I love the songs on that record, but it fucking kills me when I play it. Whenever I listen to it, it just kills me. But
Yeah. That's why you never heard Jason say anything, because, you know, he's thinking, oh, well, it's loud as shit on Garage Days, so it's going to be loud on the album.
they just
Wrong.
shit on him, man.
Wrong.
They made it hard for that guy.
They probably did the fuck with him. Don't worry, we'll make you a millionaire on the next album.
Yeah, he's doing fine.
Yeah.
Jason, we love you.
What else?
All right. The record that made, all right, there was a record that made me say, okay, I want to be a rock star, and that was a Poison record. It's not on the list though, because it was more like a music video. I saw the music video when I was really young, probably 5 or 6.
Okay.
For a Poison song, and I was like, I want to do that. I want to be in a fucking rock band like that.
Did you hear that?
But then
Carl said he wanted to be a rock star because of Poison.
Yeah.
He better not ever in his life say some smart shit about me and Kiss.
like, you don't know it. Did I say anything smart
No,
about
no,
Kiss?
no.
Like,
No,
you didn't know that?
no,
You're just as much of a fucking
no.
Poison fan as I am, so I don't want to hear it.
Well, I'm sorry you found out I was
But anyway,
gay.
so that led me to want to be in a band. That's when I was like, holy shit, what are these fucking people doing with the lights and shit?
Yeah.
So then it was Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction that made me say, oh, okay, I want to play drums. So,
Okay.
and I was really young when that came out, but my brother was 11 years older than me, so he was a teenager when these records were coming out, and he was the one that kind of introduced me to these bands, and it really helped. So to have an older person to say, hey, put that fucking Whitesnake record down and hand you a Metallica record instead, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so that changed everything. When those two records came out, that changed everything. That's, for me, musically, that's when I said music is all I want to do.
Yeah.
Then from there, Black Keys, the album's called Brothers.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great album.
Just for when that album came out, I always enjoyed the Black Keys leading up to that, but they were never one that that became a constant in my cycle of listening to music.
Everybody was all about them for a minute.
Yeah, they blew up big
So
around Brothers that time.
Brothers
Yeah.
is the album where they kind of just, in my opinion, started really switching up what they did on their records and kind of like made
Where
it
have they
more
been?
about it.
I haven't even heard anything about them in a while.
They put out a record this year, and
Yeah.
I think it's the best one that came out this year.
It was pretty decent.
It's a really good rock record.
It was all right, yeah.
So that goes to show you how current I am.
So just kind
That's
of
a good
where
album, though, bro.
kind of where I was in my life at that point. And then getting turned on to that record, that band has been like, now they're in my top 5. A couple bands got booted by the Black Keys. So
Yeah.
I like them though.
They're good, yeah.
I
They're
do like
real
them.
bluesy. I like their vibe.
when I was in another band my brother listened to a lot when he was in high school was Pink Floyd.
Okay.
So I always heard him playing The Wall a lot, and I always thought it was interesting. But that's kind of that was pretty much like my first turn on to hearing like forms of sampling being done on records in songs that were rock at the time, and I didn't really realize what was going on when I was 5 years old or 6 years old listening to the Beastie Boys. I didn't know anything about production at that point, but when I would hear like, planes and like the war sounds and the Pink Floyd records, I was like, wow, they just mash it up. It's really cool. And that's kind of what got me interested in that kind of shit. But the album for me would be Animals by Pink Floyd.
Wow, that's a weird one.
Yeah, that's a
weird album. It's very cool though.
It's a from beginning to end one with me. I've had
That's weird.
many awesome memories of being in pretty far off places on this planet, traveling around at a certain time in my life, and that album was being played a lot. And it's just it's just one of those.
Now that I think about it, there's a lot of people who say that one. If it's not the typical The Wall, or see, my favorite Pink Floyd album is Wish You Were Here.
It's a great one.
That's only 4 or 5 songs.
Animals is long, and it's only like 5 songs maybe.
Yeah,
but it's really fucking long. So
yeah.
If you fall asleep during, you can, yeah, lay down. Yeah, never mind. I'm not going to go there anyway. So, so then
Go where?
drugs.
Yeah.
All right. So then the last album on this for me would be this. You're probably going to laugh at me on this one, but it would be Amy Winehouse, Back to Black.
Dude, she's great. She was great. She was great.
That's another kind of thing where when I discovered that album in my life, just kind of where I was, and I listened to that album in headphones for fucking a year straight.
Yeah.
There's just something about like her
She's
voice.
timeless, man.
Her voice, I don't know what it is, but her voice, not necessarily her teeth, but her voice
Yeah.
gives me like complete body chills the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that's a good list, man.
I don't know.
Kinda
There's
like,
fucking awesome break beats on that record. There's some like cool slow vibes going. There's some like reggae vibes going.
I don't know why I think Janis Joplin, when
I was listening to her last night.
like her and Amy Winehouse kind of, for some reason, not that they sound like each other or anything, but
Shit, they could be the same souls reincarnated.
that's more where I'm at with that.
Yeah.
Something like that.
That's
Yeah,
a good list. Both of you guys came up with real good lists. Let's take a quick break and I'll give you mine.
All right.
All right. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back after this. Hey, Taylor Cooper here, and if you're looking for real, all-natural relief from stress and muscle soreness, you've got to check out our friends at Eunomia CBD. Eunomia CBD products are grown and processed in the USA, nano-amplified, 100% THC-free, and third-party lab tested. Order anywhere in the U.S. and use promo code MBN to get free shipping plus 20% off your entire order just for our listeners. What are you waiting for? Is stress wearing you down? Are sore muscles getting in the way of your weekend plans? Eunomia CBD is a game changer. I personally love their menthol pain relief lotion. Their gummies are delicious, and they even have CBD treats for your dogs. Go to eunomiacbd.com, check out all their products, and don't forget to use promo code MBN for an extra 20% off your order plus free shipping. It's your life. Feel better. Eunomia CBD. That's EUNOMIA. EUNOMIA CBD.com. Go there now. Use MBN as the promo code. Get 20% off and free shipping. Must be 18 years old or older to purchase.
So you've been listening to the Might Be News Network, but you still can't get enough each week? Become our patron on Patreon. Head to patreon.com/MBN Network to become a patron and get exclusive content now. For as little as $5 per month, you'll get access to extended episodes of all your favorite shows, as well as perks including MBN merch and monthly giveaways. Just want to support the network? Become a patron for as much or as little as you'd like. Get bonus content each week and head to patreon.com/MBN Network. Your contributions help us make this network bigger and better than ever before. Patreon.com/MBN Network.
Welcome back to Might Be Tunes. I'm Taylor. With me, Ahmed and Carl.
What's up?
What up? So, my top 5 favorite albums. I'll tell you, and then we can kind of go over some of our runners-up or honorable mentions if we have any. Because I had 2 lists. I have my top 5,
hard.
and then I have
It's
all
not-
the honorable mentions. Like they're all interchangeable. It's ridiculous.
Anyone listening right now, let's hear your list.
I can't believe.
Make a list, and if you listen to the show,
hit us up. Tell us what it is.
and then bring your list, and then we'll talk about your list.
The goal here is we're going to get listeners involved. We're working out the best way to do that, but we are planning on doing that.
So this week was our top 5. You hear the show, do your top 5.
And let us know. For the people who know me, some of this isn't going to surprise them whatsoever. Wu-Tang 36 Chambers is my number 1. This isn't an order after 36 Chambers. 36 Chambers, number 1, always,
album, though,
forever. I heard it when I was a kid. I didn't understand, obviously, had no idea what was going on. When I was older and really took the deep dive into Wu-Tang, I realized how much that album meant, not just to hip-hop, but to music in general, how different it was than everything. RZA's production is so offbeat and amazing at the same time. Like, you know what I mean? He has these especially in 36 Chambers, these snaps that happen. Instead of like the snares, he does snaps. And sometimes they're on beat and sometimes they're just a step off. And it makes it so authentic and so just, you can tell that this was made, by someone who was learning how to do it. You know what I mean? This wasn't like a professional big ball in studio. This was the absolute definition.
Well, that was one of their first ones,
of
wasn't
the
it?
grit. That was their first
See,
one.
that's why.
Yep. And then you get into the whole. This is a super group. Like
The gang.
That whole group of guys, like together, is better than anything in my mind. In my opinion, they're like people are like, oh, who's your top 5 dead or alive? Can I just say Wu-Tang, or do you want just me to list my top 5 favorite Wu-Tang members? Like, because that's how it is for me. You know what I mean? And it's just, that's my number 1 favorite album. Everything else is out of order, but that, no matter what, any day you ask me what's your favorite album, 36 Chambers.
That's your go-to.
36
right there.
Chambers.
I really like Method Man.
Oh,
I loved
good.
I loved his records when they, I was like 19 or maybe like 18 or 19. I think when
I
one of
have
his
nothing bad to say about them.
when one of his bigger
They're,
records,
they're one of those type of groups.
what was it? It was not to Cow. What was the one that came out after that?
Judgment Day.
That one. I was like 19 when that came out. I was
Judgment Day
fucking
is
awesome.
so hard.
It was
There's so
good.
many songs on there, and half of them are skits, but they're all great.
A lot of skits.
A lot of skits.
Guys, we can calm down with the skits now.
That was back in the day when like every hip hop album had like
all
20
over the
skits.
place.
Yeah.
You look at the track listing and it says like 30 songs and it's only 10.
Yeah, like stop. Just-
That would get.
He had a voicemail from Janet Jackson on that album.
Yeah, well,
he had a voicemail from Donald Trump on that album on Judgment Day. I'm trying to think of who else. A whole bunch of people. Dude, that album was crazy. But no, 36 Chambers number 1. I got to go with Dr. Dre, The Chronic.
Yes.
Iconic hip hop vibe.
that got kicked off my list
Yeah.
earlier today.
Yeah.
It did.
That is on.
Classic.
If my list keeps going, that's definitely on it.
It's like, it's so iconic. It's such a, just like 36 Chambers, The Chronic revolutionized that specific area's version of hip hop. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like 36 Chambers changed East Coast rap forever. The Chronic changed West Coast rap forever. And Dr. Dre is just a genius, man.
Straight out of Compton.
Straight Outta Compton did, yes. But like the Chronic, just to me,
When he
for
brought
his
in
solo
that
thing,
funk, that
vibe.
70s funk.
Yeah.
And that's the part that I really like.
Yes.
'Cause I appreciate that he was so deep into
Right.
like Parliament and shit like that. 'Cause
Right.
I love a lot of that stuff.
And him and Snoop Dogg together.
Yeah.
And the Chronic was when that really became like a thing. That was just, I mean, the two of them together is just incredible.
They were fucking kids when they did that.
Right.
I know. Look
Right.
at it
Where
now.
Snoop was.
Right.
Snoop was a kid.
Snoop was a kid. And then Doggy Style came out, like right after
the
that.
next year.
Yeah, and that's a classic too. That
That-
doesn't make my list,
that's
but
a real
The
good
Chronic
album.
does.
Yeah. That reminds me of high school, that whole album.
Rage Against the Machine, Evil Empire. People of the Sun is one of my favorite songs. Bulls on Parade, one of my favorite songs. I had to go with, we were talking off mic about Rage and how like those first 3 albums, before Renegades, I can't really consider Renegades is like probably their best sounding album. I think Carl and I, we've talked about that.
Yo, Renegades will just shake.
Everything.
Will just shake your house.
Yep.
If you got a good system and your car too. You just do yourself that favor.
Their cover of Cypress Hill's "How I Could Just Kill a Man" is like one of my favorite songs ever. Like hype jam, just get fucking amped up. But I had to go with Evil Empire just because of some of those tracks. Snake Charmer is another one. That's a deep cut. That's like my shit right there.
Yeah.
Zach De La Rocha is like, to me, he's like one of the most underrated like lyricists of all time. And he's one of the most underrated frontmen to me, like of all time. That guy, like just watching, I've never saw him live, which is one of the biggest regrets I've ever had. I've seen Audio Slave.
I saw Will and Rage. How you feel about that?
Did you? Oh my God, dude.
Well, would it be fair to say that those the Rage guys went and did bigger things after Zach? Right?
Yeah.
Like Rage Against the Machine was gigantic, but
Right, yeah.
it was kind of after the fact that they became mainstream.
Right.
And
Audio Slave definitely took them that
Audio
direction.
Slave was just all of a sudden everybody's
And
a
that's
fucking Audio
weird
Slave fan.
because you're like, wait a minute, this is
Right. Well, they
how the
stopped
hell is
talking
this
about
blowing up more than
Right.
Because Chris Cornell with those
Yeah.
with that fucking that rhythm section of Rage is just untouchable.
Oh, for sure.
Like you can even like
Rest in
remove
peace.
you can even
yeah.
you can maybe even like simmer down with Tom Morello. It's the drums and bass of that group is where they get that sound that is
I
just
agree.
untouchable. But their groove is amazing.
They're so heavy, and it's just like. But Rage, and I get down with the Prophets of Rage too. I don't know. That album was really good.
Yo, I went to one of their shows and it was the fucking biggest party I've ever been to.
Really?
There wasn't a person there that wasn't jamming.
Yeah.
Not a single person.
How can you not like something like that?
There's
just too much there for everybody.
I've never seen so many people dancing in one place.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, how do you not like that?
I gotta say, D'Angelo Voodoo, which I brought up earlier.
See, never heard it.
Really?
Yeah.
You would like it.
You would like that. I feel like you would.
He definitely would.
I like.
Will it, like if do I got to listen to it by myself? Will I be embarrassed to like crank it up around people?
No.
Okay, cool.
No. Some songs.
Yeah. Cat
Some songs,
if you listen to it by yourself, Cat might be like, yo, what's going on?
What are you doing?
Kat will think I'm fucking weird if I'm listening to this. She's gonna see, and we have like the Apple TV. She'll see the recently played D'Angelo and be like, I don't know. Toby listens to some funny shit.
D'Angelo, how does it feel is on Voodoo, and that's the video where he was just butt naked and the camera was just spinning around him. So don't just like throw that on your Apple TV or else. So she'll definitely be like, "What are you doing?" But no, that whole album, like cover to cover, is just like I said. I feel like I've said authentic a lot tonight, and Voodoo to me is one of the most authentic albums ever in my book. It sounds like it was made at home, but it has like some of the greatest musicians of this generation. Pino Palladino is one of my favorite bass players. Questlove is on the drums and does a lot of production for it.
Okay, now I'm interested.
Questlove has worked with D'Angelo throughout his whole career.
What's this guy look like? I'm bringing him up.
Oh my God.
D'Angelo's awesome, dude.
You know who he is.
Yeah, you got to know who D'Angelo is.
I know the name, but I didn't know what he looks like.
You've heard that song Brown Sugar?
No.
Don't make me sing it.
Sing it.
I'm not.
You're going to have to because we can't play shit on this, can we?
No, it'll be on the Spotify playlist.
All right, look up Brown Sugar.
It'll be on the Spotify playlist.
But I know you know the song.
Oh, from 95. Who produced this stuff? Is it like the New Jack Swing stuff? No. I'm over it already. I'll check it out, I guess, later.
Left and Right was on Voodoo. That had Method Man and Redman on it. That was a dope song. I'm looking through it. Feel Like Making Love is one of my favorite songs.
Is that a cover?
No.
He's kind of like a Prince.
Yeah, he's
like,
very Prince-ish.
like a smooth.
He's got that croony
Yo,
voice.
anybody else say
Yeah.
that, I might have to smack your knuckles with this pencil.
For real. I'm for real.
But it's you that said that, so I'll listen then. I'm going to listen.
Some
really
of
good.
his stuff
You'll like it.
is like a really smooth Prince. I'm not saying he's better or anything like
He
that.
puts on
so
a really
don't-
good show too.
Yeah.
I've seen D'Angelo. I went down. I saw him in Reading after he put out the his newest album with the Vanguard, which was great. But my last album that I'm gonna say is newer, but I just love literally everything this guy does, and this has to be my favorite album of his. Anderson .Paak, Malibu.
Well, I don't even know who that
Something
is.
that recent, huh? It's a
I'm-
great record.
I'll tell
Don't
you
get me
something.
wrong.
I'll tell you
that
something.
guy is so talented.
I'll tell you something. And like this is why I was kind of conflicted about this, because there's a lot of like older, works on my runner-up list. I have a 2.5 hour long Anderson .Paak playlist that I made myself on my phone, right? And like if I just need to throw something on, if I just need some music, I don't really care what I listen to. 9.5 times out of 10, I'm gonna click on that playlist and just hit shuffle.
It's
because-
2.5 hours of just his song.
his shit.
He's got that much released.
Yo, he has wait. He's got
Everybody's got to
Venice-
step it up when you hear that.
Venice, Malibu. He's put like 2 or 3 albums out in the past like 2 years. He's got Venice, Malibu, Oxnard, the No Worries album. He's got a bunch of shit. Anyway, Malibu, Anderson .Paak has like this whole like timeless vibe to his music. And that's why in the end I didn't have an issue putting him on this list, because Malibu in particular, there's parts of Malibu that you could for real, that could have been released years and years and years ago when you hear it. He works with so many of my favorite artists now, not necessarily on Malibu, but just throughout his career. I love every single one of his albums, not so much his first one, but Malibu was his second album, and it's where he, I think, found like his groove. He hooked up with the band that he uses, the Free Nationals, which
Is he a solo artist?
yeah, yep. But he
Did
works with a
come from
band most
somebody's
of it.
band?
He's been in bands. He's been in a bunch of different things. He's a drummer.
Yeah, he's a killer drummer.
He's
trying
a,
to think of.
He does that shit while playing drums.
yeah, he does. He does. It's
Killing me.
Dude, he's crazy. He's so good. What was his first album? Venice was his first album, and I don't like that one as much. Malibu was his second album, and I love it. I love it. He was in a band called Kush Moody. Trying to think. Moody Stardust, I think, was his other thing. But I can't find any of that shit. Like I have on my playlist I'm talking about, I have a bunch of his features and stuff too. Like I did like a total deep dive because this guy to me is the best out right now.
I like the songs he did on Compton.
Yep. Oh yeah, he's on like 4 or 5 songs on Compton, maybe more.
Dre's Compton?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So he's kind of like
Is he the one that did the doom, 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 doom?
no, that song is hard as shit.
I know.
Oh, the main opener. Well, there's
I
a short
love
song and
that
then that
song.
one. Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, that record nailed it.
I
He nailed it with that
love
record.
Compton
that
is
song.
is a hard fucking album, dude.
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised and very happy
Me
how
too.
much I liked it.
Me too. Because like that short song came on in the beginning, and I was kind of like, I don't know. And then like that song came on, and I was like, yo,
He's the one that actually played it for me.
for real.
I
Yeah.
did.
And yeah.
Because that fucking beat was
And
the
I was
hardest
like,
thing I've heard, and
hard as shit.
that was the hardest beat since like
Yeah.
50 Cent put out in the club.
I gotta agree because I was like, yo, it's one of those songs that instantly put a smile on your face.
Yes.
You get that.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
It did
Yeah,
that
yeah.
to me. So yeah.
Yo, I know exactly what you mean. You get that giddy face, like,
like,
yo, this is fucking real.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
I'm a huge Dr. Dre fan.
yeah.
His beats have always been the best. Production, he's a solid producer, that's for sure.
I watched what was it called on there was like a documentary on HBO about him and what is his name?
Oh, the dude, the ball guy?
Yeah. Jimmy Levine?
Yeah.
I forget what that
That was a great show.
That was great. But like when they were talking about how
Jimmy
Dre,
Iovine.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say yeah. No
yeah,
matter
no,
what, he
that's
could
it.
have said
Jimmy Iovine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he could have
that's
said
it.
fucking Bill Gates. I'd have been like, yeah, dude. The guy that did the computers.
But no, like when it kind of dove into what like Dr. Dre does during production and how like, you know, people were waiting on Detox for so long and where's the album? And then no Detox. You get a Straight Outta Compton movie and then you get this Compton album. And I feel like, so many people saw Straight Outta Compton, but I feel like Compton the album is slept on as fuck. And I think that like that album needs to get played by everyone.
Yeah.
Kendrick kills that album. Anderson .Paak kills that
It
album.
definitely doesn't get the Chronic 2 treatment.
No, and not even close.
But it doesn't, well, production wise, it's really good, but it doesn't knock like the Chronic did either. But it's different. It's different style. It was a completely different.
Also, he didn't produce every song on that.
He managed to kind of like ride in the middle of his style and what's hot now, and he did it pretty damn well to where he didn't put any clowns on the mic. I don't think.
No, he didn't.
Really. So it was really good.
He had Ice Cube on there, Exhibit. The Snoop Dogg verse with track with John Connor was ridiculous.
Your boy Kendrick was
on
on.
there. It was like sprinkled on it all over the place. The Game was on there.
Yeah.
It was a great album.
Every one of those people would probably do it for free.
Oh, no doubt. Because Dre put most of them on. You think about it. He put The Game on, definitely. He put Kendrick on, definitely. He put Snoop on, definitely.
Yeah, hell yeah. Him and Dre.
Anderson .Paak, definitely.
Him and Cube came up together.
Yep, Cube.
So, yeah.
Did you guys like Straight Outta Compton? Did you like that movie?
I did. I loved him.
I like that movie.
It's just it's just a big group. It's a community of artists out there doing that. It's so cool.
Yeah.
After all these years.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man.
But that's the thing, though. I feel like he still has like another 20 years or something like that. Like his career's still young. He shouldn't even be, or we shouldn't even be talking about the possibilities of him not being here. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe I'm just used to him being in the game or something, or feels like he always should be.
Right.
Because, he's still young. It's not like he's old,
Yeah.
Kind of like, look at Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
Stevie Wonder looks the same as he did in the 80s.
Except his braids
He does.
pulled way
back.
here.
Oh, is that what it is?
But
But
I
other
never
than that-
noticed that.
Oh my God. Now that you know, go check it out.
Oh, man.
But
like trees have like different rings in their trunks. Like his is just like inches of his forehead that
That's
shows.
awesome.
yo, they're barely holding on. They're
Yo,
going
how
up.
is Stevie Wonder not on any of our lists?
Yeah. It's a
Again,
shame.
it's narrowed down to 5. If you keep going, you'll find him. He's there.
Top 5 lists are very impulsive also, by the way. So like if you haven't listened to Stevie Wonder in the last like 2 weeks, he might not have made the cut or even like.
But if I'm
Hit it.
feeling old school, which is 90% of the time,
Yeah.
I will throw something of his on.
Well, if the question was top 5 favorite like soul albums,
He'd have made it.
Stevie'd be there.
He would have made it.
Yeah.
But with one of his albums, it wouldn't have been one of his. It would have been a compilation. It wouldn't have been a straight up album.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I love a lot of his stuff. But also a lot of his stuff that I really love are the hits. There aren't too many B-side Stevie Wonder songs that I like.
Let's give a couple runner ups or like, some honorable mentions? Yeah, for your top 5.
Deftones, White Pony.
Yeah, that's a good album.
That's
a good album. That's solid.
How it's not on there is it's a solid album. It was a changing point, another one of those places in my life when I was just starting college. Like, it was just a different time in my life. But that fucking record slams. They pretty much that if I had to like move Amy Winehouse around, it would be with Deftones.
Okay.
But it's like I said about her, it's more about like the fact that I just get chills when I hear that voice.
Yeah.
So, and that I played it for a year straight. But Deftones, you, Ahmed?
Biohazard, Urban Discipline. Yeah, I played that tape until the white letters came off. So, yeah.
If I was gonna move one album off my list and change it with another one, I'd probably take Voodoo off and change it with Incubus Make Yourself.
Yeah.
To me, that album
that
changed the direction my life was going. Like, when I heard Incubus Make Yourself for the first time as a complete album, I probably listened to that for a year and a half straight.
One of those albums.
Yeah, year and a half straight. Like, I didn't listen to like anything else.
I remember when that came out. I remember that time of my life. It's so fucking weird how
it's White Pony time. It was around the same
they
time.
changed so much.
It's just so weird how music is like our time machine to our memory works.
Yeah. It's so funny
that
that
album
you guys
and I could tell you where I was.
Say those 2 albums because that was the first time I ever saw them 2 together. Or the first time I saw Incubus was with Deftones on the Make Yourself tour and on the White Pony tour.
Okay.
So that's weird that that you guys say that, but
I could do a whole podcast just on Deftones.
Yeah. The first album, I saw them at the Troc opening up for the Bloodhound Gang. How weird is that?
Yeah, wow.
They used to play
94.
They used to play at like coffee shop like style places like in Lancaster. When they were like like 95, 96.
That's wild.
Some friends of mine seen them in those places back that early.
The Deftones are kind of like us, large.
Yeah.
Because they kind of like came up when we first started and shit like that. We were all at like the same level at the same time. The only difference is they blew up.
Yeah.
So we're pretty much close in age with those dudes and like that whole scene type of thing.
You are. I'm still younger. I would be the young one of that group.
Yeah, I know, but you still played, part of that scene.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, well, that's the thing. Like back in the mid '90s, that's all we fucking did was go to shows at all over the place, and a lot of the bands that we went and would see, some of them went off and did some pretty good things, or branched into other bands that went off and did some pretty big
E-Town
things.
Concrete,
yeah,
Hatebreed, VOD.
I remember when like Clutch used to play at Rex's in Westchester before they got fucking huge, and that was like that place would just be packed to the wall.
Green Day.
Wow.
All those. Yeah.
We talked last weekend. I wanted to, because one of my honorable mentions, Carl, was something that you took a listen to this week, was Herb Albert and the Tijuana Brass. Whipped Cream and Other Delights is one of my honorable mention albums. I can put that album on any time of day if I'm happy, mad, upset, and it would make me feel the same way at the end of it, which is just great.
It makes, all right, I did listen.
Did you? What did you think?
Maybe I shouldn't have listened to it at work because it made me like, the musicianship is great. We'll just start with that. But it's very soundtracky.
Oh yeah.
So when I hear stuff that's soundtracky, like my fucking ADD brain just goes, all right. So then once that happens, I'm not working anymore. You know what I mean? I'm somewhere else. I'm in just somewhere else listening to that music and like I'm like just nothing good comes out of music like that. Like it makes you want to like maybe rob a bank.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah.
like
yeah.
you picture yourself driving down the highway with like millions of dollars flying out, like
flying out the back.
yeah, like you feel like nothing. Like that is just music for gangsters from like 150 years ago.
Now I gotta listen to it. I didn't listen to it.
So that's where I went with it. I'm like, you just picture gunfights and just
It's like
shit
it's,
like
it's
that.
that mixed with like, all right, it could be. It's like a mashup of every great like 70s game show music ever.
What's the name of the album again?
Whipped Cream and Other Delights is the name of it. And honestly, there's like a remix album of that I can't find anymore. I had it on my Apple Music or whatever, and it just disappeared one day. It won't let me play it. And then I tried to find it to buy it, and I can't.
Now there's some cool grooves in that record.
Dude, there's some really
All right, so I'm
really
gonna
good
listen to
shit.
that, and I'm
Heard
gonna.
about
I had to listen to it at work because it's got trumpets in it, and
Yeah.
I get shut down at home if I have
it's like
trumpets
all
playing.
it is trumpets. Yeah, it's
Well, I
great.
know who he is. So
He's a trip.
If I get caught with trumpets at home, I get in trouble. I get shut down at home. Like you can't play like cake's not allowed in the car. Or at home.
Oh yeah,
I get shut down quick with that one.
What was that song? A long jacket.
yeah.
Something like
Short
that.
skirt, long jacket.
Yeah.
Isn't that what it was?
Yeah.
That it's like just the constant monotone voice, but with the trumpet that just doesn't stop
Yeah,
going all over.
yeah.
It's like it should be. I think they should be replaced, like or switched.
Yeah. Yep.
They had some cool beats, man.
Long short skirt
And
and a long jacket.
Yeah, like it's like Primus. Primus is another one of those bands that
Yeah. It's what the fuck, but you can't turn it off or something.
No.
no, you're in it. You're because
Is all their shit like that? Because I'm only
yeah,
the
it's
one
pretty
song.
much all like that. It's because of where it takes you. Their music like puts you in a mindset like of something, you know. So once you're in that mindset, it's just whatever. You just got to surrender to it. Like
always
it's like
like-
Primus. Like if I play Primus around
Yeah.
other people, they
No
just
one
look
gets
at me.
it.
They
Yeah,
just
like,
look at
what
me
the
like,
fuck?
shut that shit off. And I'm like, I don't understand you right now, but I'll listen to you.
Yeah.
You know, I'll shut it off. But to me, it's some of the sickest shit I've ever heard.
That's definitely how I imagine some people feel when I put on Herb Albert and the Tijuana Brass. It's like, what the fuck are you doing right now?
Like
The only thing close to that I have is Wesley Willis. I put Wesley Willis on, and everybody's what the fuck? What is this shit?
Wesley Willis.
Yeah.
Geez, I like. See, but that's like the beauty, though. That's the greatest part about music is that like you could be totally feeling something, and somebody 3 feet away from you is just like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Or you could just totally bond off of it. Total
Yeah.
opposite. You know, like, oh, I didn't know that you like this band, or like,
But there's always going to be that person that you just expect has shitty taste.
right,
There's that.
right. That's
But then
true.
there's people that you would really, really have high hopes for and expect to have really good taste in music, and then they pull some shit out. You just, I don't know, you just don't understand. It's kind of like
See, that's
politics.
kinda- yeah,
it's like
you know.
politics, you know. Like you see your smart, well-off friends voting some shitty ways, and you're just like,
Well,
you know.
that's like seeing some kid in school back in the day wearing a winger shirt or something like that.
right.
Well, wasn't that who they made fun of the most
Yeah.
in Beavis and Butthead?
Yeah.
Like the dorky kid wore a
Yeah.
winger shirt.
Yep. Yep.
Well, guys, this has been a blast. I'm really excited to be doing this with you guys every week.
Yeah, this is fun. It's cool.
We're going to be sharing the Spotify playlist on our social media, so make sure you check that out. Go follow Might Be News Network if you're not already on Spotify. That's where you're going to be able to find it. Every Friday, we're going to have a new episode with Ahmed and Carl. We're going to have a new playlist. We're going to have songs from the conversation that we're talking about tonight on the playlist. So make sure that you go check it out so you can follow along with the episode. If we're talking about something that you don't know, hopefully it's on Spotify and we'll put it on the playlist so you can be like, oh, this is the fucking winger song that
Herb
they're talking
Alpert.
about. Oh, Herb Alpert's on here.
I'm
Like,
gonna
cool
go
as
rob a
shit.
bank to Herb Alpert now.
Definitely keep winger out of it. Especially the 17 song.
Yeah.
That shit don't fly these days.
Go bump some Herb Alpert and Cake.
Thank you guys so much for listening. Ahmed and Carl, thank you guys so much, man.
No
All right,
problem.
man.
See you guys next week.
See ya.